VoceVista Video is an excellent tool for analyzing recordings. It's also great for comparing two or more sounds in one or more recordings. For example, you can take two files and line them up side by side. This can be useful to analyze how and why the recordings sound different. You might do this to compare two musicians, or to compare recordings of yourself to see how your sound has changed over time. You can also use this technique to compare different sections within the same recording. In this video, we're going to look at how to align windows in VoceVista Video and use the spectrogram to compare recordings. The spectrogram is a visual representation of the spectrum of frequencies of a signal as it varies with time. This example has a frequency scale on the left with the lowest on the bottom. A time scale appears on the bottom with higher values to the right. The harmonic components of the sound appear on the graph with the loudest frequencies in red. These frequencies also appear in the short-term view when you select in the recording. In this example, when we click at 1 second, we can see that the dominant frequency in the short-term window is the 9th harmonic at 1088 Hz. Or, if we click at 5 seconds, the 3rd harmonic at 364 Hz is the dominant frequency. Now that we've had an overview of the spectrogram and how it displays recordings, let's look at how to compare sounds in two files. The files we're going to look at are recordings of the same final B-flat in the aria Celeste Aida, performed by the master tenors Luciano Pavarotti and Plácido Domingo. By lining them up side by side, we can analyze the different resonance strategies that each singer uses to produce this powerful note. In the default view, when you have multiple files open, they appear as tabs at the bottom left of the long-term view. You can click each tab to switch between files, however, it's much easier to compare them when you can see them both at the same time. You have two options. Tile the windows so that one appears above the other, or side by side. You may find that different orientations work better for certain files, but it's a matter of personal preference. From the window menu, select either Tile Stacked or Tile Side by Side. The app arranges the long-term and short-term view windows for both files. Once you have the view that you want, you can then select the sections that you want to look at and compare them, for example, by analyzing the intensity of a sound's component frequencies. Let's click in the B-flat for both files. A quick scan reveals some big differences in how the two singers approach the note. The loudest frequencies in Domingo's recordings are clustered around the 6th harmonic near 2.8 kHz, while Pavarotti's sound on the same note is dominated by the 3rd harmonic 1 octave below, around 1.4 kHz. This also lines up with the second formant of the vowel he is singing, sol. Neither strategy is the correct way to sing the pitch, as both of these singers get a great sound, but they are different strategies to approach the note. You can also use other tools to make comparisons between the files for a deeper understanding of why each singer sounds different. You can perform the same kinds of analysis using only one file. Here we have an example from a singing lesson. The teacher has the student perform an exercise, and then discusses how to improve the sound. Later, they have the student repeat it. The student wants to line the two up so they can more easily see the differences between them. First, they identify the sections they want to compare. They select one and click Window Store Contents in a second window. By default, the app tiles the recordings stacked on top of one another, but you can select Tile Side by Side from the window menu if you prefer. The sections now appear in two separate windows so that the student can easily compare them. Both examples are the same note and vowel, but the top one is sung with a breathy voice, while the bottom one has a more full voice. If we compare the sounds using the spectrum in the short-term view, we can see that the top one is dominated by the frequencies under 1100 Hz, especially H1, the fundamental frequency around 160 Hz, while the bottom one has a strong signal around the singer's formant near 3000 Hz. These differences in frequency distribution account for the strong differences in how we perceive them. Now the student wants to compare two examples of the same pitch being sung on different vowels. They find the new section with the E vowel, select it, and click Window Store Contents in a second window. The new selection replaces the I vowel example that was in the lower window. The most obvious difference between the two examples is that the sung E has almost no strong signals between the fourth harmonic at 640 Hz and the harmonics around 2000 Hz, making it appear as though there's a hole in the sound. This is normal for the sung E vowel. The E vowel is also dominated by the frequencies near the singer's formant around 3000 Hz. This is just a quick example of some of the comparisons you could make between the two sung vowels, but you can see how useful it can be to line up different sections of a file using this feature. Note that both windows are views into the same file. If you edit the file in one window, it affects the file in both. To return to the default view, either maximize one of the files using the menu, or close any files or windows that are open in the other pane. You can have as many files open as you like. In order to keep the screen organized and make comparing files and sections easier, the app displays two at a time. Any files not displayed will appear as selectable tabs in one of the windows. You can move files from one window to another by selecting Window Move Tab to Other pane, or by clicking a tab and dragging and dropping it in the other window. You can change the orientation for the long and short-term views using the Toggle Long-Term and Short-Term View buttons. These settings apply to all open files or windows. VoceVista Video Pro users should watch the second video on this topic, which goes over how you can use the long-term average spectrum as well as markers to perform more advanced comparison techniques.